Hey, good morning, everyone. I am in a bit of a low energy recuperation mode. I've spent the last 2 days in Legoland and Disney with my kids. It was my son's third birthday, and between him and the 5-year-old, it was a lot, but totally worth it, of course. Just definitely dragging today, this Sunday morning. So my husband took the kids to Target and to the grocery store to give me a little time. He's always very thoughtful like that, and I appreciate the time to recuperate. I've spent a lot of time explaining to him what it means to be an introvert and that it's not that I don't want to spend time with them all the time, but just that I get to be so low energy from it after a while that, you know, my best self requires a little bit of me time in order to give them everything that they're looking for. So all of that to say that here I am on Sunday morning trying to sort of just process what this week looked like, get into next week and thinking about what I want to prioritize and get done. And I, of course, am in my Hobonichi. I don't know if I've showed you guys this before. So this is the Search and Collect cover from Hobonichi, but it's for the 5-year journal. I got that because I like to carry a lot of stuff with me. Not only do I have my A5 Hobonichi Avec, but I also carry this Hobonichi notebook that both of which are covered in fabric. And then I also am able to shove in this little pouch I recently picked up on Amazon. It's from Erin Condren. I don't love it, but it's working for what I needed, which is just a pouch to carry all my pens in and then shove some stuff in that I use a lot. So anyways, that fits in the middle. And so my pens are nice and protected. It's tight, and it's not like it's bursting at the seams, but it's tight enough that it stays together when I hold it and stuff is not falling out. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is just quickly look at what I got done this week, what's pending, what needs to be moved. Also, the first thing I would always do when I'm planning for my next week is to look at my calendar on my phone and my to-do list on my phone. I use my phone as a bit of a brain dump. Like if anything occurs to me, like for instance, last night as we were driving home from Disney, which was just over 3 hours, as things were occurring to me, what I typically would do previously is to forget them and or to sort of have them in my head where it was stressing me. So now all I do is just jot down a note in my iPhone reminders app, and then I reference that every week or sometimes even multiple times a week to transfer anything to my book. And I find that that relieves a lot of the anxiety that I've had previously. And so that's sort of my little tip. That's what works for us, for me. Okay, so I'm looking at my list. I always update my habit tracker. I'm not, I do try to keep up with it daily, but because we were gone this weekend, I didn't. So my meditation, I did it on Friday. I did not do it yesterday when we were at the parks. I did it this morning, which felt really nice. I did do Spanish yesterday in the car ride home, and I did it today. I'm doing really good. So I'm using the Duolingo. I did pay for the upgraded year, so I don't have to deal with the ads and everything, because that would drive me absolutely crazy and I'd give up. But I have really enjoyed it. I've been very diligent with it, and I've already moved out of the basics and into the foundations. And a lot of it is coming back from all of my high school in Spanish, and I've enjoyed the actual speaking part, which is nice. So did not make time or prioritize yoga this week, so I'm really hoping that next week I can do that and find some motivation. And then if I don't, I'm probably going to question this goal, or if there's something else I would rather be doing here. The second thing is my meditation, which I've been very diligent about. I use an app called 10%. They've had a 10-week challenge with that was actually with the Dalai Lama, and talking about what it means to be happy and, you know, how meditation can support that. So I really enjoyed that. And that gave me a lot of motivation to continue with my meditation practice.
My walking was not super consistent this week. A bunch of things came up that threw my days off. So, and also I had this long weekend, but I did give myself credit for walking Legoland and Disney all Friday and Saturday. Those turned out to be, you know, I think yesterday I did like 8 or 9 miles. So, that I got credit. And then finally, my stoicism, my daily readings, and my affirmations I've been very diligent about. And I'm really finding a lot of enjoyment in that. So that is something I absolutely will continue with. So I did not get to any of the cards that I wanted to make this week. So that is going to be a priority for this week coming up. And then actually I did do this. So this is good. Okay. And then I want to make a lot of progress on this yearbook project I've got going on. So we're going to roll that over. Okay. So I already pre-populated a couple things going on so that I wouldn't forget. One of them, so there's 2 workshops that I've signed up for. Now, they're during my work days, so I obviously can't do them during the day, but they're recorded and they typically will drop the recordings at night, so I'm planning on doing them. I still recorded them at this time just because I don't know why. That's how my brain works. This is the actual live workshop. If for some crazy reason I decide maybe to take a half day or something, then I would do that. But the real reason I make sure I always log these, even if I'm going to do them at a different time, is because I like to use this to check off that I actually watched it at whatever point I watched it during the week. And then that I did some sort of, I actually did some practice and or made something out of what I learned. So I'm not sure what I'm going to use for that, but maybe I'll like color in a circle or something next to it. So anyways, that's why I always put them on here. I've taken so many workshops. Well, let me say I've paid for so many workshops. I actually even keep a tracker so I know exactly how much it's been, and it's sort of embarrassing. Although at some point I was going to show the tracker that I use and how I use it to try to keep me a little bit more accountable. But all that said, I'm not always very diligent about actually finishing the course and or making a finished product out of it. So I do try to give myself a little grace, but I also have been telling myself lately that, that I need to be a lot more strategic about which classes I sign up, and mostly because particularly my level in calligraphy now is such that I really take a lot more intermediate or advanced calligraphy courses, and they're a lot more expensive. So of course you can find courses online that are $40, $50, $60, but the ones I've been taking lately are more in the $150 to $200 to $250, $300 range. And because of that, I really do need to invest myself in the workshop. So I hopefully won't be signing up for as many more, but I'll be diving more into the ones I do sign up for. Okay, so I'm just sort of setting up my layout here. I've got my little to-do list that I've started putting together, and then I'm going to make my buckets of to-dos down here. And again, I've mentioned this before, but I saw this originally on Architect Destiny and absolutely love the way that she does that. I don't know that she's using this right now, actually. I think I saw recently she's doing something a little bit different with her weekly pages, but it's working for me, so I'm going to continue it. So I just draw out the lines, and then I write in the buckets. I'm going to continue with this Art Aaron's Contact using this Pentel sign pen. Man, wow, you can see I'm very tired right now because my lettering is not looking great. Bye, chores radar. We were really fortunate. The weather was so great at Disney yesterday. And so we weren't quite as exhausted as you typically would be, where, you know, by like 4 or 5 o'clock you're fried from the sun and everything. And then this over here is sort of flexible. I keep it open for projects. So for this week, I'm going to continue with the yearbook for my kids' school. I've volunteered to head that up. Don't ask me why. But I need to keep making progress on that. I did do some work last week, but this week I'm gonna be more focused on that. So put a couple of these, and I'm gonna have to roll over some of those items. And then I don't have anything on the radar. I know I will put my chores on here. I actually do have something I need to buy this week. Hopefully I'll be able to make time. I need to buy a new pillow. And I've been putting it off. And then my husband actually said to me last night, I think you need to buy a new pillow. You're tossing and moving a lot and reconfiguring your pillow a lot in the night. And I was like, oh, well, if he's noticing it, then it's probably pretty past the point at which I should have gotten one. So I'll do that. I used to have really severe TMJ, and then I had basically a whole new, a lot of dental work done, including like all new teeth to try to correct my TMJ. Because of that, I really need to use a really quality pillow to keep some of those symptoms at bay. The dental work did do a ton, but I still have to, you know, sort of be cognizant of when I'm feeling jaw pain. I don't think I have any errands at the moment, but as far as art goes, I'm going to put a project here that I definitely need to make progress on this week, and that's for my friend's Save the Dates, which is, I have to break that down further, but I have already mocked up what it's going to look like, and now I have to do the actual detail work of painting it and doing the lettering and everything, and then figuring out how I'm going to get them printed out. So, okay. All right. So I have that set up, and then another thing I always do to prep my week is to put in the blocks of when we make and eat dinner. So we start making dinner around 6. We eat dinner at 6:30. Saturdays and Sundays. Oh, actually it's Friday. Sorry, Fridays and Saturdays. My husband and I eat a little later together. We kind of have like a little date night at home, when the kids go to bed. And we eat something other than what the kids have, but we still sit down with them on Friday and Saturday night. And then Sunday we sort of get back into our routine and we eat together the same thing as a family. So I know that actually for tonight we're having, we actually did not eat these hot dogs and mac. We ended up ordering pizza because we had so much to do for travel prep. So we're going to have this tonight. And then I know tomorrow night we're having chicken breasts with salad. Okay. Perfect. I don't think I have anything up here going on. I typically up here would write in if I have PTO, if the kids have any days off school, or if I have any birthdays. So I'm pretty sure this week is clear, which is nice because I could use a quieter week. I will go ahead and start filling in my habit tracker. Okay. Spanish. Okay. Do those in a minute. So I mentioned last week that I switched to a different fountain pen ink. And even though I don't love the color as much as I absolutely love my Ferris Wheel Press Bluegrass color, which I was using previously, which is like a turquoise, really pretty. This, I've not been having the crazy smearing that I had with that. Barely any smearing, which was not from me touching it too quickly, but rather just from the oils in my hand as I'm rewriting over things. It was causing smearing all over. So that's, I can use something that takes a few minutes to dry. I'm okay with that, but not being able to rewrite over something, that's too fussy for me. So I don't want to deal with that. So I switched it out. That's working. Okay, so this seems like a very, simple week at this point. And then the next thing I would do here is I always like to just kind of go back and re-reference my couple things. Glance at my vision board. I am reminding myself about what I said at the outset of the year was most important to me, which is more purposeful family time, a goal we have of being, having our summers away. So this year we're looking at Vermont. And in fact, that's something that we wanted to start thinking about this coming month is finding a place to live for the summer, a house. Meditation, which this is definitely working. My Spanish, I'm definitely on track for that. This is meant for me to think about growing my art business. And so this is definitely something that once I get past these couple projects I knew I was going to have to tackle in January, that February I'm going to start really leaning into this. And then getting outside more and doing yoga. So those are definitely a couple that I need to focus on more. So really just, it's sort of like a minute to think about the intentions that I, really want to focus on. And then I typically will also just flip back through my pages from the previous week, which starts here. I already filled some of this in, but some of it I will need to fill in the coming, Vacation, of course, completely got me off track on all of this. So, and then a couple things I know I want to capture to-dos for this week. I want to prep my planner supplies for February. So what I had always intended to do was for each month to have sort of a set, I don't want to call it a theme, but really more just a color scheme. Because I'm not really into stickers and all of that. I use my markers and my pens and, some minimal washi tape and such to set the color theme. So for this month, it was very much blues and turquoises and greens. And when I needed to use stuff, I kind of grabbed for these things. For February, it's going to be pinks and reds. I know that's a little on the nose, but the real reason is because my husband bought me this really beautiful ink. So he bought me this really beautiful, I hope you can see all that shimmer moving around in the bottle. This is a diamine ink, and he got me this for Christmas, and I've been wanting to use it, but it didn't go because I'm crazy like that. So this is like a really gorgeous corally color. So I'm going to be putting that in something. And then I also got this similar type color, but we'll see. I think it swatches a little bit different. This is also a coral color called Wonderland and Coral, and this is from Ferris Wheel Press. I mean, the packaging in these is just so beautiful. So this tends a little bit more orange, and this one tends a little more pink red tone. So we will be using those. And then I just have so many fountain pens that I really wanted to challenge myself this year to use them more intentionally. So swapping out month to month will let me do that. So I want to spend some time this week to just put together a February planner supply kit. And then I also want to prep for Incorimo. So this is the International Correspondence Writing Month, which is the month of February. I did it a few years ago. I really enjoyed it, but I also had a newborn that was 1 month old. From the last few years between COVID and everything else, it was just too much for me to think about. But for February, I'm definitely planning on doing it this coming month, which is the goal is to write a piece of correspondence every single day for the month of February. And I always have people I want to write to. And then of course there's a whole list of people online that you in other countries and such, which is a fun idea as well. But the way I know that I'm very successful at it is by putting together a kit essentially with everything that I'm going to use. So I will get ready the envelopes, paper, the pens, any wax seals, you know, anything like that I'm going to use, and I get it all together in a little kit, and then I basically work out of that. Otherwise it's just so overwhelming. I have way too much stuff. So that's another thing I know I want to do. So this looks like a deceptively small amount of stuff to do this week. I'm sure I am missing some things, so I will continue to add to this. But this is essentially how I set up my week. And that includes, you know, migrating anything from the previous week over, putting my layout together, and then putting in those big items that I know I want to get done and goals that I have for the week, setting up my habit tracker from the get-go, and starting to think about and spend some time in, you know, what is each day going to look for me. So for right now, it looks like I have a lot of flexibility in how I can set up my days. So that said, next week when I do this, I'm going to show you how I use a sort of checklist that I refer to, and I can't find at the moment, but I will find for next week, that it's sort of a list of words that trigger thoughts about what I might be missing from here, right? So are there any home projects that I need to do? Are there any big picture work projects, which again, right now I've been keeping a separate work list, but at some point, I may start incorporating pieces of that into here. And then I think it's a really useful exercise, which of course I will do myself when I find it, but I will share it with you guys next week. And I'm also planning later this week to post a video on how I prep my planner supplies for the week, so you can see the beautiful colors and pens and everything that I'll be using for February. Thank you guys so much for joining me this week. I hope that you've had a beautiful week, a nice relaxing weekend, and are feeling prepared and confident and motivated as we go into this final week of January. You guys, we're already so close to the end of the first month of the year, which is crazy. So I hope that you're getting into a good groove with your goals. And if you're not, and you're struggling with some things like I am with my yoga, you know, spending some time to think about why is that, and is there some other way that you can approach that goal and or tweak it. I'm certainly going to be doing that if next week does not show that I'm dedicating myself to that goal. So thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your day and weekend, and I will check in later this week.
Hey guys, it's me. I'm back. It's Monday. Man, I was really struggling yesterday, and I thought I'd check back in this morning and just show you a couple of things I updated since I filmed yesterday's prep video for the week. So I went back through my reminders in my phone and found a couple of things I needed to get done this week, and I added them here in the to-dos. And then also, I just wanted to show you two quick things I typically do. So I know there's this book art fair going on this weekend on Sunday afternoon. So I added it on a little transparent sticky flag, and I just put it here as essentially a placeholder. So I'm hoping to go, but it's not set in stone, and this is about the time. And of course, I can move it around depending on other things that are going on this week, and then and or just remove it. I'm not a huge fan of using pencil, mostly because I don't like to erase on the Tomoe River paper. Sometimes I feel like it um, weakens it a bit, but the other thing is that if there's something going on that I need to know about or I need to track, but I'm personally not doing it, like for instance, my son has a doctor's appointment and my husband is going to be the one to take him, I still put it on here just so that I have it sort of, you know, on my layout. But I put it in these brackets and to the right hand side. And so that's just like, hey, this is going on. But I'm not going to be doing that this week. So that's just two little tips that I thought I would throw in there and show you guys how I deal with those things. So anyways, sorry again. Thanks for sticking with me if you're still at this point in the video. But yeah, two theme parks in 2 days with two little kids was a lot. And I was really having a hard time yesterday getting through it. So I hope you guys are having a great start to your week, as am I, and I will check in soon. Bye.